Cash-a-maniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Hey, welcome to Geo Gearheads. We are here on a Randomize CIX. It's like getting our kicks on Randomize 66, but it's not 66.
It's 488.
109.
Yeah, it's Randomize 109.
CIX.
Episode 488. But I was wondering, is it CIX or kicks?
Probably more like 6 with the CI, like in circle.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's 6, which explains our mental condition.
Oh, our mental age, you mean?
No, 6.
Yeah.
We're mentally 6.
Oh, you're 6. Got you. Maybe I'm the one
6 in the head.
6. Oh, hey, this is Geo Gearheads, a weekly show about geocaching and geo-related games. I'm Chris of the Northwest. You've already met the sick in the head Darryl W4, self-proclaimed, so I'm not saying anything he didn't already know.
Hey, but the good news is we have assistance for these things.
That's right.
It's called
geocaching. And we need
it. And GSM times 2 says, get your kicks on Route 66. Sounds like a fun show.
Exactly. That's what I thought of. I was trying to do get your kicks on Randomize 66.
But it's not.
I know it, it's closer to what the show's about, and it's a play on words, and it's very confusing with all the numbers and letters.
But to get people sick, the Pizza Ninja said that he just had a slice of amazing pickle pizza. Just thought I'd randomly share.
Now, is the pickle pizza amazing, or is it called Amazing Pickle Pizza to get you to the idea you think it's amazing? Because
I'm not sure that it matters.
Pickle pizza. I've had cheeseburger pizza with pickles on it, and it actually did work. But
there's been a lot of absolutely bizarre pizzas that I've tried and really liked. One of my favorites, which is, like a Detroit area only thing, Coney Island pizza.
I've had that.
So what do they call? They have a bunch of different names for it, but it's like the chili dog in most of the world, I think is what they call those.
It's a chili dog. Now, the chili's usually a little different than, it's different locally wherever you are, but yeah.
Pizza Ninja said it tasted amazing. Sounds weird, but it's good.
Okay.
But
I'm a big fan of pickles.
My wife is more than I am, but I like pickles too. But a lot of people I know, you say pickles, they just run.
Mm-hmm. Do you want a little bit of random news about me, Darryl, or should we just move on?
Why do we go random again?
So in high school, back in the 30s, I think it was, because I'm that old. My job during the summer was at a pickle packing plant. So my job was when the cucumbers came in out of the fields, they would be on the trucks and be sorted by size. My job was to level the crates, right? So, because otherwise they pile up in the middle and you can't stack the crates on top of crates. My job was to level the crates. And even though I wore a glove, my entire forearm was green after a day's work.
So your job is literally just stick your arm out.
Stick your arm out, push the pickles around the box, and shut off the chute when they're full, and have the forklift driver come and get them. I worked, I want to say 16 hours a day for 4 or 5 weeks. So, you make a lot of money. You don't have a chance to spend any of it because all you do is go home and sleep and come back and work. So it was one of those jobs, great for a high school kid. Kept me out of trouble.
You'd think that there was probably a better way to do that with a machine, but high school labor.
No. It would take too much electronics and the dirt. I mean, sometimes the pickles are wet. Oftentimes the pickle pickers would pack mud around the pickle, around the cucumber, in order to get their weight up. So you had to sort that out as well.
There you go.
So yeah, there was, there was some actual work to it, and it took skill, let me tell you. And the green has eventually worn off, but yeah, I had green forearms. I felt like the Hulk. Oh.
Yeah, that was before Hulk was, cool.
Yeah.
Unless you were a kid.
Oh. How many pickles could a pickle packer pack if a pickle packer could pack pickles? Says GSM times 2. Okay.
I'm guessing a few hundred an hour.
Yeah.
Probably more like a few thousand an hour.
Yeah. There were several thousands. I can't remember the weight on the crates. I want to say they were between 500 and 700 pounds each.
Oh, so big crates too.
Yeah, big crates.
I'm envisioning like the little crates you see on the produce stands.
No, these are just raw cucumbers coming in to go off to grandma's pickles.
The non pickled.
They're cucumbers. They hadn't been pickled yet, but you have to sort them by size. So you get the little gherkins, you get your other pickles, and then the really big ones they just grind into relish. So I'm sure that has something to do with geocaching. It does, because the pizza ninja is eating a pickled pizza, so thus it's all related to geocaching.
Yeah, it all ties back somehow. Well, do we want to talk about the GIFF? Because we actually got the real information about GIFF finally.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been speculating on GIFF for how long now? Since they announced the color. But now we actually have some real information. So, the first and most important part of this announcement is that the submission form is going to open on June 1st. Which surprised me when I really thought about that and discovered that's only like 2 weeks away.
Yeah. Oh, it is, isn't it? It seemed, no, it's way out there. That's half the year, and we're already there, aren't we?
Yeah, we're already there. So you're going to have to upload your geocaching film to Vimeo, and all of the submissions must be in by August 5th. So you don't have a whole lot of time. Now, on the other side of that, the film festival dates are going to be November 11th through the 21st. And what I thought interesting in the announcement was, given the rapidly evolving coronavirus situation around the world, we will offer both virtual and in-person options for GIFF 2021 screenings. Stay tuned for more information. I think a lot of people are expecting that means virtual events for the first time. I don't think that's true. Yeah, there's probably just going to be links so you can view them on your own. It's not going to be a virtual event. Or if it is, you probably still can claim it.
Yeah,
as a find.
I agree with that. But there will be some in-person events.
Yeah, they're doing in-person and the virtual events for places that can't do it. But I think they're going to do everyone does have access to the real. You just can't claim it as a find.
Right.
Which I think would be cool. Because
maybe they'll put some trackables in there for some, so you can get something out of it.
Yeah, I think there's always been at least one or two videos that have the trackables. So you're going to get the trackables no matter what.
That's true.
But yeah, I would expect to see that, and I'm going to go through, watch it in person if I can, and watch it again on my own, just, because I want to I want to catch whatever I missed the first time I went through it.
Exactly. Even if you see it, especially if you see it with a crowd of people, I like to go back and watch it again, because, you get the reaction of the crowd. And it's like, yeah, that was funny. Oh, I missed what happened right after that.
Yeah. And how many times do you get the people who drowned out the dialogue with the laughter? Julie says that we should be able to have in-person events in Canberra. Looking forward to the fun. And nice. GSM times 2 says in-person virtual hybrid. I bet they will have a virtual event that can be claimed for a fine, in his opinion.
Oh, interesting.
So he's thinking they're going to do the virtuals. I don't think they're going to do that because they've been so resistant to it.
If they open that can of worms, you're not
can't
going to
put the
get
genie back in the bottle.
Exactly. I was going to mix my metaphors and say you can't put the genie back in the bottle, right?
Yeah.
I just heard from this on the CDC today said that vaccinated people can maybe not wear masks in certain indoor environments.
Yep, except where regulated by,
right,
everything else that regulates it. But they're basically saying they don't have any evidence that there's a benefit to wearing a mask.
Huh, funny.
For vaccinated people.
Right.
If you're not vaccinated, wear the mask.
18 masks is, I think, what they say now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's still just 2, but
just, cut off all circulation to your head, you'll be fine.
Yes, 2-ply masks, so that's 4 masks. Anyway, so in the rules section, I went through and picked out some of the things that were interesting and relevant. Definitely read the whole thing, but you have to be 18 years old to enter. But parents or legal guardians may submit on behalf of their minor child. So you, as a parent, can't submit it for your 6-year-old if you like, but you're the one who's doing the submission. It also has to be family friendly, big surprise, which includes no nudity, sexually explicit or suggestive content. There's one I can think of that.
The guy in the bushes?
No, I'm thinking even back before that one. There was one, I think it was a French one, where it was suggesting an affair.
See, no, that's fine. Then for the French, that's art.
Perhaps. Profanity, firearms or other weapons, racist, harassing, and otherwise offensive content, or content that would be inappropriate for children, such as violence or frightening content.
Oh, so I'm out. Look at this.
No pizza or no cash pirates.
Okay.
Your film's submission must not contain any commercial or corporate advertising, including corporate logos, brand names, or slogans, or promotions for geocaching events, even if such advertising is unintentional, and even if it's geocaching related. No geocaching apps and or geocaching related services or branded goods are allowed unless they are brand and products. If you choose to incorporate our brand and or products in your film, the use should be only in connection with your entry in GIFF.
Interesting.
So, no logos. You can't even wear that T-shirt from Midwest Geobash, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a mega event,
right?
Great. Which also means you can't do my trip to Midwest Geobash or to Gigastock, something like that. That's off the table.
My trip to a generic Midwest geocaching event.
Yeah, it's my trip to the geocaching event. That kind of stuff could fly, but you can't mention the event that's kind of annoying. More annoying is if you're going to show an app, it has to be the geocachinger app.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. I mean, they're going to in turn put this out under their name out into a reel. So
sure.
They don't have the rights to use other people's properties or images or logos. So
yeah, no,
I get it.
But yeah, that kind of goes along with a previous one. But yeah, it's just, I find that a little bit odd, but understandable. And it's
a little
an
draconian.
Easy one. Well, it's an easy one to follow of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How easy it is to wear.
You've got a little polo player there on your shirt that could get your video rejected.
Yep, absolutely. And that's been a problem in other areas too, which is, I'm sure, why they're making such an event of it. You know what? I wonder if that's going to cause problems with some of the geocoins too. Because you probably can't put a geocoin in from Gigastock, for instance.
Well, a coin can be.
You could put the trackable.
You could put the trackable code.
Right, but you can't put the coin itself, because that's the logo for the event. All right. Anyway,
No mega event souvenirs or swag, says Brylang.
right.
MC3 Cat says, wow, way too restrictive. GSM times 2 says, there goes my idea for historic Route 66 adventure entry. I may have to reread that one again.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue. Anyways, only include content, video, music, photos, illustrations, etc. in your film that you own, have permission to use, or to which you otherwise have the necessary rights. Do not include other people in your film unless you have their permission. Be ready to provide verification of permission if requested.
Oh, so you got to be careful on your filming angles, right? Don't go to the park on a busy, sunny day and get all those people in the background.
Right. And if you do have other people in, it's probably a good idea to get them. I know this is going to be a pain, but sign the model releases, the day of filming or whatever, so that you have those available. And you can always do it as the, PDF on your tablet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, do something
or
to
just
prove that you have
email that says, yes, I approve you filming me on this day. Here's my name.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're going to take that as a permission. So, I don't know how strict they're going to get with it, and it probably depends a lot more on what it is. But Thanos X says we might want to run this past legal. It's all about the liability.
Yes, it is.
Which is very true. And Bryling points out these are not new rules.
Right.
Yeah. No, I didn't think that they were new rules, but haven't had a chance to go through these in a few years. If you are spoiling a geocache in any way, you must have the geocache owner's permission. That one I remember when it first made it in.
Mm-hmm.
And it got a lot of attention. I want to say it was like 7 years ago.
And if you're spoiling milk, you're free to do that. You don't need any permission.
No. Total film length should be between 1 and 4 minutes, including the credits. Only
I didn't know there was a minimum length of 1.
Yeah, I don't remember when they did that, but at one point I seem to remember it was like 2 to 6 minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they backed that down.
I seem to remember
only 2 films.
5. So
3 to 5. That might have been it too. But yeah, it was longer than 4, and it was greater than 1 minute. I think they backed that down a few years ago because they did have a few that didn't quite make the 2-minute mark that were actually quite entertaining. Some of those short stories are better, and that's kind of what TikTok has become as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so only 2 film submissions per person will be accepted. You may not resubmit an entry from a previous GIF unless your entry was disqualified and you have made the corrections to address the issue.
I found that interesting.
Yeah, I did too. And it's because they're allowing the resubmissions that were disqualified with corrections that I found that interesting, because they're not putting a time limit on the content, which makes a lot of sense. Just, I didn't catch that previously.
Well, and the fact that, I thought for example, this isn't true. I thought I had a really good entry 2 years ago and you didn't make it. So I'm going to resubmit it.
Yeah. And it gives you a whole nother year to work on it too. Brylang says, hard to tell any kind of story in less than a minute. Not impossible though, or TikTok and YouTube shorts wouldn't exist.
That's true.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts, the reposting of TikTok videos. You must not share your submissions anywhere after GIF 2021 is complete on November 21st, 2021.
Did you get only 2 film submissions per person will be accepted?
Yep. We got that. It's the last one, actually. But
2.
yeah, it's
interesting.
The thing I find interesting is you can share after November 21st, 2021, which I think they've had for quite a while, but at one point they lock that down even longer than that. I want to say that for the first several years you were asked to not share it for like 2 years after, which is common for, actually I think it's 3 years, but it was common for the film festival circuit that you had to provide exclusive rights for a certain number of years. So anyway, for anyone who is interested in making a submission, there's your overview of the rules. Go and check it out, read it yourself. But we'd be interested to find out what you're doing and how it's going, because if nothing else, I'm kind of fighting the urge to do one myself.
Don't fight that urge, Darryl. Go do it.
I'm fighting
it
because
film
what else do I have to drop or let slide to find the time to put together a 3-minute video?
Shopping, sleep.
You'll find if you actually do one of these yourself, you'll find that it is incredibly time consuming to make 3 minutes. It's a lot harder to do a nice, concise, short video than it is to just sit here and ramble on like we do in this podcast.
That's exactly right.
Pizza Ninja says that's good info and
Pickles. Pickle Ninja.
I haven't had enough.
That's what I'm going to call him for the rest of the night, is the Pickle Ninja.
Pickle Ninja. Okay. I always thought about doing a GIF. So yeah, I highly encourage people to give it a shot. But yeah, don't be surprised how much work it is to do one. And this is a concise period of time.
Yes.
But
yes,
it's very doable.
Well, I can tell you that Wits End and I did a video for Land Monkey's 50th birthday. And it was a silly video. It wasn't very long, but it was an entire day of filming.
Oh, sure.
Just back and forth to get it right. No, let's change the words there. Let's change the cadence, and we need to film this from multiple angles. And it's an incredible amount of work to put together just a short little video that looks good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe you should consider doing like a Blair Witch geocaching video where it's just one camera, one shot, continuous, and you're done.
They've done that, I think, in one of the previous entries, but it didn't make it into the final reel, I believe.
Well, I'm not saying the horror aspect, but just the filming aspect of Blair Witch.
Yeah,
it changed the rules.
It did. But let's actually jump into our next bit of news, which is that the next of the GPS 3 satellites, Space Vehicle 05, has actually been delivered to Florida and is in prep for launch. So it was transported by a C-17 from where was it? Joint Base
Lewis McChord.
Joint Base.
Woohoo! Just
in
south
Washington.
of my hometown here. That's JBLM to the uninitiated.
But yeah. Oh no, that's where the crew was from. Sorry.
That's where the Globemaster come. I see the C-17 circling over my house all the time.
Yeah,
you may hear them from
one of those transported Space Vehicle 05. But it came from Waterton, Colorado, and was delivered to Titusville, Florida. So it's beginning its final testing and checkout before launch. Blah 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 blah. Where was the rest of that? Okay. So it is slated for a June launch, and it's going to be the first ever horizontally integrated launch on SpaceX.
How cool is that, right?
It's going to be launched by a Falcon 9.
Falcon 9. So, we're launching space vehicles again. How cool is that?
But it's going to be joining the operational constellation of 31 GPS satellites. So getting better.
Well, that those GPS satellites are being upgraded because of these GPS 3 satellites going into the constellation. Our next article talks about the upgrade, about the Constellation modernization. That's a tough one for me to get out.
You could do the pickle tongue twister, but you can't get a simple title of an article.
And then we're only talking 2 words. I could rip out, 6 words of pickle packer packing pre-pickles, but Constellation Modernization. No, that's a tough one for me.
Excellent.
Oh, the United States Global Positioning System is used now more than ever, with an estimated 4 billion users worldwide. That's with a B, folks, in case you didn't understand billion. Industries of all kinds continue to leverage the precise and consistent data streaming from GPS satellites. The universal use of GPS signals permeates our lives and creates positive impacts around the globe. And I just want to say, around the globe, that's for you flat earthers. Sorry, I got you on that one, didn't I?
Around the game board.
Oh, so some upcoming 2021 GPS Constellation Modernization Milestones. I'm getting better. The GPS 3 program is off to a great start, further enhancing military readiness and bolstering the activities and assurance of all GPS users. That's you and me. The program continues to push space acquisition boundaries with the first reuse of a Falcon 9 rocket in the National Security Space Mission. Slated for launch in June, we talked about that. Space Vehicle 5 will launch on a flight-proven Falcon 9 that was recovered after successfully launching Space Vehicle 4 into orbit. So Space Vehicle 5, really the 5th GPS 3 satellite, will continue the GPS Constellation modernization effort and will deliver users a bump in performance and accuracy. The satellite features interoperable L1C. Wow, I've lost it now, Darryl.
You have.
This L1C
the new
signal,
better signal.
The newest L5 signal and anti-jamming improvements. So there will only be jelly up there, no jam. For the military user, and that's all we want to be, right? It's going to become the 24th military code or M code satellite, bringing the M code utility to its initial operating capacity. I didn't know. Well, I guess I did. The military has things that we don't have, but they're also having things built into those same satellites that we use that we don't get access to. So I don't know how much more accurate military GPS is than what we have in our phones and in our GPSRs.
It is a better signal and better accuracy. Part of it, if I remember, was the M code is actually a more accurate time code.
Okay.
So by honing the time, you improve the accuracy.
Right. Because that's all these satellites really do is it's all about time.
Yep.
Right. It's all about signal delay and degradation and, time difference. So it's all time shifting.
And GSM times 2 asks, will they benefit the geocachers or just benefit much higher users?
Well,
and
whether your state allows or recreational marijuana is a totally different topic, but they're going to how high do you need to be to benefit?
Thank you, Bradley.
No, it's going to help everyone. Now, it depends if your receiver, be that your phone or a handheld dedicated GPS, has the ability to receive those signals and decode that new information in them.
Well, even if we don't have the new receivers, we will benefit from more satellites. These are better signals and better timing and everything. So they're going to provide some benefit even without the newer L5. But
Okay.
if you have something that supports that L5, it's going to be a lot better.
The L5 is the third civilian GPS signal. Kind of seems odd that they would call it 5, and it's the third. Designed to meet demanding requirements of safety of life transportation and other high performance applications. Its name refers to the U.S. designation for the radio frequency of the signal, which is 1,176 megahertz, because you knew that.
Yeah, but it's to do with the penetration and stuff like that as well. So it's not as susceptible, if I recall, to refraction, and it's better at penetrating through leaf cover.
Right. The frequency was chosen so that the aviation community can manage interference to L5 more effectively than L2.
All right, there we go. On another interesting GNSS news, the second generation. No, but at least for me, it's almost 10 p.m. So I have an excuse.
I have an excuse too.
You're on the show?
Just not time-based. I just can't talk.
Anyway, so there's a second generation Galileo contract that's been awarded to Thales. Is that actually pronounced Thales? I think so. Anyway, the European Space Agency has selected Thales Alenia Space to support implementation and experimentation of the navigation algorithms that will be used in the Galileo second generation program. Under the contract, Thales will develop the Advanced Orbit Determination and Time Synchronization (ODTS) algorithms test platform OATP. In a previous contract, they were chosen to provide 6 satellites and initiate the B2 phase of development and implementation of its ground segment for the Galileo second generation constellation. Using its long-standing legacy regarding navigation algorithms, in addition to innovative approach, Thales Alenia Space will develop and test a new advanced ODTS solution. The new orbital algorithms will allow significant improvement in positioning performance and real-time operation of the Galileo system. It will exploit the accuracy of the GNSS orbit and clock estimation with a solution optimized for the real-time generation of Galileo navigation messages and take full advantage of the evolution of the satellites and ground stations considered in the Galileo second generation. Bryling says, you ever wonder if you go too deep in the article if Chris and Darryl will just shut down from the tongue twisters? Wow. Yeah, that one got me.
They will need a reboot then. Yeah.
Yes, I probably need the reboot now. But it's exciting news that we have the Galileo system going up and continuing to grow. There was some interesting stuff over the last few weeks about actual two-way communication and how that's starting to work.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of wondering if we're getting a little bit past that, but I think they're going to be expanding it from what I'm hearing. So we'll see in future articles what's actually happening.
Well,
but
Darryl, have you seen the photos in the last several weeks of a string of lights up in the sky and people wondered what they were?
No.
What they turned out to be was a launch of microsatellites. And I'm wondering if, that helps for some of these other things that we're looking at in the sky as far as, satellite communication and that, or two-way communication.
Yeah, there's a bunch of the microsatellites that are actually for internet service. Mm-hmm. So that one I found very, very exciting because if, you can't do just a standard phone yet, but it's viable if this works right, that you could get that technology improved and we could get internet on something the size of a smartphone in the middle of the desert or some place that you normally couldn't get service. It's not going to be 5G speeds, but how much do you really need to just download a Google map or that information about the cache. So I really like the idea of being able to use my cell phone sized device to, send out the pings of where I am, rather than spend a lot of extra money to get this big bulky device that chews through batteries to do it for me. Things like the Spot and the InReach are awesome, but they're bulky and they go through batteries.
Right. So here, this isn't the exact image, but it looks just like it. So that string of satellites, if it catches just right,
It
people
reflects
wonder,
the sun.
yeah, but they all do at the same time. And people look up and go, what is this? Is it an alien invasion? No, not really.
And G9 says that friends saw the satellite over Mingo.
Oh, there you go.
That would be interesting.
Wouldn't it, though?
And they are shooting out those satellites 60 at a time.
Wow. That's something, isn't it?
They're also using those to do a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, GSM times 2 says, not the InReach Mini, not bulky at all.
It's true. The InReach Mini is, the size of a pickle.
Yeah, but you have to have the phone still to interact with it, if I remember. Am I wrong? Now I'm questioning.
No, you don't have to. It allows you to do specialized messages, but you can do the I'm fine, checking in, or need help.
Yeah. So for most things, you probably don't need anything else, but you're not going to find the caches with it. Next one that I thought was very interesting.
But stupid. Oh,
not just because the title is China's privacy law could be stronger than America's. That's just, the handy side effect, because I heard about this before I saw the headline. But it's going into a proposed law in China that is going to offer what the writer says is a novel protection for post-mortem privacy. So when a person passes, that person's family will inherit the rights to handling the descendant's personal information, which includes the power to delete the account. So They also go into some information from Alexa Lee, Senior Manager for Global Cyber Privacy Policy with the Information Technology Industry Council and editor of DigiChina, who told Protocol, who's the one that I grabbed this article, that the privacy laws globally rarely address the rights to personal information of the deceased, which we know. And this is a very unique addition, because if you look at all of the global privacy laws, only France has one on this, talking about the rights after someone's died. No other privacy laws have something like this, not even GDPR. So this gets into some of the stuff that we've talked about in previous shows with the survival of caches after someone exits the game. Mm-hmm. So, I thought that was pretty interesting that they're actually trying to write this into privacy law.
Hold on, why I search for something. I was in a
GSM times 2 calls it a formalized dead letter policy.
There you go. There was a phrase that I saw that somebody said they put in their profile, and MC3 Cats, help me out. It was during the Saturday chat, and I've forgotten who it was, that talking with geocaching.com, if you put this certain phrase in your profile, that if you're either you have passed or you haven't logged on to the website for 365 days, you can give permission to give away your caches.
Oh, I think he says it was
it was GSM times 2. Okay,
right. But I
wanted to say that.
Remember, we talked about that on one of our shows was there was this phrase that they were accepting.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be exact, but yeah, I don't remember what the exact limits are on it, but it was evolving even when we talked about it.
So I don't know if it's 100% accurate anymore, but I like the idea, so I went ahead and put it in my profile.
There you go.
GSM times 2 says the phrase, in case of my death or I'm inactive on geocaching.com for 365 consecutive days, I am giving GCHQ permission to unilaterally offer my geocaches for adoption.
So that's a good idea to add in there. But
just tossing that out there.
Yeah, Thanos X said you can place clauses in your will to address virtual assets. That doesn't mean that it has to be honored by the companies that hold them. That's been the ongoing problem.
Right.
So putting something in law makes it uniform.
Gentlemen, thank you for helping me this evening. I can come up with an idea and it's like, yeah, I want to talk about that, but I don't remember who or where or what. You guys work it out for me. So thank you.
Yeah. But in any case, where I was going with that was the problem that I see with this is now we're going to have different laws in different places, and privacy law is already a cluster. Now it's getting even worse. However, I do like this. Brylang says hashtag research department, and GSM times 2 says always our pleasure.
You guys are always on it. You guys should do the show. I should sit back and listen and learn something.
Yes, but then they couldn't do all the researching because it'd be talking.
Oh yeah. Then I would have to do it. No, let's keep it the way it is. Hey, there's one other thing we should talk about space related.
Okay.
And that's the Chinese, what was it, 9-ton section of rocket coming back to Earth violently.
Yeah.
I would like GSM times 2 permission to use their words. I bet you got it. So in this article I'm reading, parts from a Chinese Long March rocket fell into the Indian Ocean near the Maldives. China's manned space engineering office reported late Saturday night, ending days of international speculation whether the plummeting rocket debris might land in a populated area. So there were no reports of damage. Videos on social media showed the 22-ton Long March 5B, which had been drifting uncontrolled in low orbit for days, blazing a trail of light over the Arabian Peninsula as it burned up during descent. It may have been 22 tons when it was launched. I doubt it weighed that much up in space.
Well, it still has the same mass, but it doesn't have the same weight.
Well, yes, but problem. I mean, I'm thinking the launch vehicle may have been 22 tons at launch, fully loaded.
Oh, you're thinking with fuel and everything.
With fuel, yeah.
Yeah.
By the time, all that spent, it's a hollow tube.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what
like a 9-ton hollow tube coming down at, warp 3 or something.
Right. But yeah, I have no idea what those actually weigh. It's kind of an interesting thought. I've always assumed they're pretty light, but they're big metal behemoths, and they have to withstand high pressure. And so, yeah, I could see with 22 tons is not that unlikely.
So anyway, that we had mentioned on several randomized shows, there's a lot of junk floating up there.
Yes, there is.
And some of it doesn't always stay up there. Most of it burns up in the atmosphere and you never hear about it. But when you get something this big, that could possibly come down over populated places, it's terrifying.
GSM times 2, going back to the research department, says exactly, the research is easy since we don't have to think about what we're saying. I think he might be giving us too much credit.
That's true. And as long as multiple people say it, then I believe it. If one person says it, I may not believe it in the research department. So oh, did I say that out loud? Oops.
Oh man, it's been a long day and kind of a long show. Thanos X said China said the media has a double standard for their space junk coming down compared to the Western countries' space junk.
And the pizza or the pickle ninja wants to know, are there pickles in space? Asking for a friend.
I believe there are.
Yeah, why not?
They don't taste quite the same though.
Well, they're frozen. Nothing
Don't
like
eat,
a good frozen pickle.
Don't eat the pickles that have been stored outside.
Yeah.
They'll break your teeth.
Hashtag ask an astronaut. Oh, good one, Brylang.
Wait.
Folks, thanks for joining. Oh, wait.
The space shuttle weighed 165,000 pounds empty. Its external tank weighed 78,100 pounds empty, and the two solid rocket boosters weighed 185,000 pounds empty each.
Okay.
And each solid. Sorry, go ahead.
22 tons seems pretty cheap in comparison to all that.
Yeah, and each solid rocket booster held 1.1 million pounds of fuel.
Wow.
That's a lot of poundage.
And that was solid fuel. So I don't know which is heavier, solids or liquids.
Well, solids are more dense.
Dense, yeah.
So
but that doesn't mean they're heavier. I mean,
in the same volume, that means it's heavier.
The external tanks were targeted to land in the Pacific Ocean far west of Chile, and the solid rocket boosters were ditched off the coast of Florida and recovered.
Yeah, that was a cool program, but it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I mean, it's what we could do at the time, and it
was exploration,
right?
Yeah, and it was exploration of a new paradigm, and in practice, it didn't really work.
Right.
So now we're back to a new twist on the old space junk.
Have somebody else build it, and we'll launch it.
Well, yeah, and reuse your space junk.
Mm-hmm.
See, because if private corporations have to pay for burning stuff up, they're going to make sure it doesn't do it. Among other things, they actually have to worry about the liability.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just pass laws to get around it. Did I say that?
Yep. Out loud.
All right. Before we say anything else even more troubling, why don't we take off? Thanks again for joining us tonight. Check the Cashomaniacs website at cashomaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads@cashomaniacs.com or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cashomaniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cashomaniacs shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Offenauer and Darryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2021 by Darryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.
Cash with the Cashomaniacs.